Sections 12, 6, and 7 then give the exegetical and language exercises for Chapter 12. In Section A of Section 6, we start with practice and parsing. So for instance, we have the form vayomer. Now when I look at this form to parse it, we know so far that we are still, all our verbs are cal. And the very first tip-off is that we have va plus the dagesh that doubles the following yod. So this tells me that I have a narrative form, cal narrative, and then I start with a yod and I have no ending past the ending of the root itself. So cal narrative, third masculine singular, and then my three root letters in this case are immediately apparent, aleph, mem, resh, amar. So this is a cal narrative, third masculine singular of amar, and I would gloss it as and he said. Do the rest of Section A to practice your parsing. Section B then returns to translating the biblical text. For example, we have Exodus 18:17. Vayomer chotein Moshe elav, lo tov hadavar asher ata oseh. The first thing I want to do, now that we're beginning to get longer chunks of text, is use the skills of the exegetical exercise from Chapter 11 to break this up into manageable pieces. Notice the accent under elav is the athnach. So this makes the major division, and I can begin simply by working on Vayomer chotein Moshe elav. Then after I translate that, I can return and do the rest of the section. So I see Vayomer. This is the same parsing we just did before, cal narrative, third masculine singular, of Amar, he said. The very next thing I need to do after parsing the verb is find the subject. And in this case, the subject follows right after. It's a construct phrase, chotein Moshe. Chotein is the noun in construct form, in this case, father-in-law. I wouldn't actually be able to tell the construct and the absolute forms apart other than the fact that contextually this needs to be in construct to make sense of Moshe, the following noun. So chotein, father-in-law, of Moses. And because Moses is a definite noun, then the whole phrase needs to be definite. So the subject will be the father-in-law of Moses, and the verb is said. To translate that into English, and, because it's a narrative form, the father-in-law of Moses said. Now having gotten that piece together, I can come back and do the next portion of the verse from the athnach to the end. And in fact, the balance is this section will tell us what he said. Lo tov hadavar asher ata oseh. Now I can even subdivide this based on this major accentual division and first deal with simply lo tov hadavar. There's no verb here. This is a verbless clause. And so we have the subject and the predicate. The subject is hadavar, the thing. And though it's a verbless clause in Hebrew, in English I'll have to provide is. And then we have a predicate adjective negated, not lo, good, tov. And then that hadavar is further modified by the phrase asher ata oseh. So asher, remember we do wa, and we figure out the rest of the word based on the clause. Ata is the personal pronoun, you, masculine singular, and oseh is a cal participle, masculine singular, of the verb asa. So you are doing. Now I can come back and figure out my translation for asher. The thing which you are doing is not good. So if I want to be wooden in my Hebrew word order, the thing is not good which you are doing. If I want a more natural English word order, I would say the thing which you are doing is not good. Do the rest of section B to practice your translation of various passages. Then turn to section 7, where we begin to work on issues of irony in the Hebrew text and seeing how, now that you can read somewhat more complex clauses, you can start to recognize various things the text is doing and interpret your Bible better because of it.